Good morning, Ultimate Coach family. It's Monday. Hope you guys are looking forward to an incredible week. I guess some people are on spring break maybe. Some are going back after spring break. Whatever you're up to, I hope it's magical. I want to talk today about enrolling people, enrolling others. It's a pretty important conversation, and I want to talk about it from the standpoint of being, right? How do we enroll others in anything from who we're being? And hey, Denise, good morning. You'll probably like this conversation. It's about enrolling people. Hello, Lisa. Because there's the being we bring to an enrollment conversation, and then there's also the being that they show up with. So you got two beings in the room, and that could be where all the confusion shows up. So we'll be talking about enrolling. When I say enrolling, I'm not only talking about clients, like for a coach or a consultant. I'm talking about any time that you're enrolling anyone in anything, in an idea, in joining you on vacation, enrolling folks in how you might support them, right? So take it completely outside the context of coaching or consulting or selling, and we all have people in our lives that share what's going on with them, and we're always offering our opinions about it, giving them advice, telling them what we think, telling them what they should do. Well, we're trying to enroll them in an idea that might help them, right? That's why we're doing it. So this is really a broad-based enrollment conversation. That said, I will spend more time looking at it from the standpoint of enrolling clients, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of, it's not that that's entirely what this group is made up of, but I think there's a lot of folks in this group that really have a deep desire to serve. And again, that could be as a coach or as a consultant, or they could be hosting an event, or it could be putting on a talk, or just bringing people together. All of those require enrollment. Nothing that we want others to participate in, almost nothing, will be powerful enough to just attract folks automatically, right? If I said I was handing out gold bars, just had to swing by my place Saturday from 2 to 4, I'd still have to enroll people in that, because then it would seem too good to be true, right? So there is no situation where enrolling is automagic. For some people it is, and yes, I did say automagic. But that'll always be the smallest part of your audience, whoever you're trying to attract. The rest you'll have to enroll. You won't just be able to say, hey, here's what I'm doing, and people will line up to be part of it. You'll have to do some enrolling. So a couple of notes here, right? One of the things I don't like and I don't appreciate is this notion of creating clients. Like, I know there's a book called The Ultimate Coach, and it talks about creating clients, and that's certainly better than building funnels and spamming people and trying to do all sorts of internet marketing just to try to get people's attention. But the idea of creating a client, to me, even in the language of it, seems this will be too harsh, but predatory, right? I'm trying to create a client. I have a very simple philosophy, and that is, I am a coach. I coach people. I never coach without permission, and I don't coach outside of a coaching agreement, some exchange of value. So I don't do free coaching. When I'll meet with folks and have a conversation, sometimes I'll share knowledge with them, but I always share it in the form of, hey, let me share a story about something that happened to me. That's called Gestalt, by the way, if you guys are interested. Or I might share a story of somebody else, but it's always a story that whoever I'm speaking with can take from it what they want. I'm not coaching them. I'm not trying to get them anywhere. I'm not in a relationship with them unless I am, and then I would coach them. So I think philosophically that's very important. I don't ever wake up and say, let me go create some clients today. And I create lots of clients. But I show up to serve consistent with my purpose in the world, right? Consistent with who I'm being. So the first priority for me is always to create my being, be intentional with the being that's going to go out in the world and interact with others. The second is to declare what that being is here to do, right? For me, I'm here to show as many people before I die their power as infinite creators. That's the mission I'm on. That's my purpose. That's what I declare I'm put on this earth to do. So that means everybody that shows up, everybody that's in front of me is for that purpose. It's not like I'm wondering who should I give my gift to today, right? Every one of you watching me, that's what you're here for. And if you're not here for that, well, then you'll wander off. You'll leave. You won't be in front of me anymore, and then I don't have to worry if I'm supposed to share my gift with you or not. So to me, that makes life really easy. There is nobody I encounter that is not for the purpose of living what I'm here to do. So we're talking about enrollment, and we'll see where all this fits in, but I'm not walking around trying to enroll people. I'm simply functioning as who I'm being and living my purpose. So yes, it is helpful to have an idea of what you want to be here to do. And for some folks, that's kind of the sticking point. They're like, well, I don't know what my purpose is. That'll be another live here at some point. We can talk about purpose, because I think that's largely misunderstood, but I'll just put this out there. If that's something you wrestle with, hit me up. We'll have a conversation. We'll see where it goes. So the being wanders around and does what the being does. Goes to the grocery store, fills up the gas tank, gets on the Zoom calls that are on my calendar, thinks about who it could call and reach out and say hello to, right? I spend a good portion of my day reaching out to folks simply to let them know I'm thinking about them, acknowledging them for something that I may have seen them do, right? I mean, the beauty of social media is it's an opportunity. It creates endless opportunities to acknowledge people. Now, a lot of people like to use social media for the purpose of arguing, but I use it to acknowledge people. I see somebody writing about something or speaking about something or doing a live about something, and hey, good morning, Elizabeth. And I reach out to acknowledge them. Pretty simple. If I feel so moved, or it's been some time since we've connected, or if we've never connected, well, then it's pretty natural for me to say, hey, I'd love to grab 20 minutes and jump on a Zoom and get to know you a little bit. Are you game? Are you into it? Are you up for that? Usually at this point, a lot of folks sort of have head trash around this. Well, I'm inviting them to this conversation, but aren't I just inviting them to pitch them? Well, hopefully not. If you are, you shouldn't be, right? I think we are here to create connection with other humans. So just reaching out and interacting with folks and getting to know them is actually a pretty fun activity. You know, if I had to guess, I'd probably say 20% of my week, right, is spent just connecting with people. And what's fascinating is not a lot of people reach out to connect with me. Some do, but not a lot. Certainly, I haven't encountered anybody that I've met who kind of systematically reaches out to folks and then keeps track and kind of loops back. See, I track all this on a Trello board. It's just a simple piece of technology. It's called a Kanban board. If you're interested, you can look some of this stuff up, but I basically keep track of when last time I talked to somebody. I might even make a few notes, might not. Don't make a big deal out of it. It's not a CRM. It's not a marketing automation tool. It's just a way to say, who. Hey, good morning, Gerald. Good morning to you, my brother. We're talking about enrolling today, enrolling clients, enrolling people and ideas, just enrolling in general, which I think is maybe not well understood because people don't think about it a lot. I've thought about this a lot for a lot of years. So truly 20% of my life is spent just connecting with people. 15, 20 minute Zoom call for the purpose of putting a face to a name, seeing what's going on with them, and an opportunity to live my purpose, right? See, I don't get on one of these calls and think, well, is this somebody that I should live my purpose with? It's, well, if I'm talking to them, that I'm supposed to. If they don't like that, or they think I'm up to something, well, then they'll not accept the meeting, or they'll wander off at some point. Doesn't really matter to me. Uganda. Wonderful. Greetings from the other side of the world. Hello, Anita. How are you? We're talking about enrolling this morning. Enrolling folks. One of my favorite topics. So I spend a bunch of my time reaching out to folks and just having a conversation. And in the course of the conversation, I'm just curious, right? Very simple. What are you up to? Who are you, right? I'll spend a few minutes looking somebody up, checking online. You can see what they're up to online if they got a website or what have you. I'm looking for opportunities to acknowledge them. So I'll spend most of the conversation acknowledging them for whatever might have come across my consciousness about them, and just chatting and just listening. And I'm listening for how they're speaking about themselves in the world, because that's going to give me a sense of what's going on at the level of their being. For me to serve somebody, for me to help somebody, and this is true universally, it's not just true for me, there are two important pieces of information. Only two, but they're very important. The first is you have to understand their current situation. What is going on for them? What is true for them in life? The second is desired future, right? It's very simple. Everybody's where they are, having an idea of someplace they want to be. The only thing that you could possibly help them with is their journey, right? I used to say this a lot in my days training sales organizations. The only thing people pay for is help on their journey from their current situation to their desired future. They don't pay for anything else. They don't want your solution or your software or your services. They sure as shit don't want coaching. They want to get where they want to get to. So my conversations are always about that. What's going on in life? I mean, I could come up with 100 questions. You could come up with your own questions that addressed what's going on in life for you. Where are you at? How's life? I could come up with, and you could come up with 100 questions to calibrate and get curious about. Hey, good morning, Billy. We're talking about enrolling folks. I could come up with 100 questions. You could come up with 100 questions that were all about what are you looking for, right? And they could be related to specific areas, right? Somebody could be talking about what's going on with their kids in school, and you could ask a future question about that, or it could be about their job or their health or whatever. What's more fun than that? Just being interested in people and getting a sense from them of where they see their current status in life, situation in life, where they're trying to get to. Right? That's the whole conversation right there. Now, I'll pause for a minute in sort of explaining it, because I was sharing some of this with somebody the other day, somebody who's part of the community. We were able to meet up in person, and he was like, man, I love what you're talking about. That feels so natural, but everybody else says like all sorts of other stuff and to do the opposite, and there's all these programs and you gotta do this and that. And I just looked at him, I said, hey dude, do whatever works for you, or listen to whoever you want to listen to. You might want to get curious with whoever you're listening to about how long they've been doing this and what the results have been. And I share this not to brag, but to let you guys know that I know a thing about this, right? I spend a bunch of time on LinkedIn. Used to spend a lot more time. I don't spend much time on it now. And there's lots of threads about selling and sales and inside sales and cold calling, and this works and that doesn't work, et cetera, et cetera. And everybody's got an opinion. Right? I used to post lots of content, lots of videos, lots of techniques. And 10% of the people responding are like, oh, this is stupid, this will never work. That's a bullshit technique. Like, they're telling me it doesn't work. I find that so fascinating. And there's a wonderful expression. It goes something like, the truth carries no weight in the face of strong belief. Right? People will follow their beliefs more than truth or data or anything. So just know that when I share this stuff with you, I mean it like I've been doing this for a long time, and I've helped a lot of people create a lot of money with this. And it's also, to me, a very relaxed, fun, simple way to show up in life. Show up, reach out to folks, invite people to a conversation, show up to genuinely be curious about what's going on in their life, where they are today, where they're looking to get to. That will tell you everything you need to know about them, and it will also create, if it's supposed to create it, an opening for an invitation that you might support them on their journey, right? One of the things I hear a lot of people say, and a question a lot of people ask is, hey, how can I help? I don't like that question. I know it's well-intentioned, and it's better than not asking anything at all. But the problem is most people don't have any idea even what they need. Going up one level higher, most people don't have clarity on where they're even trying to get to, or what's in the way, or what they would need help with to get that out of the way. So I'll come back to that in a second. But this idea of just, hey, I'd love to help, I'd love to serve, what can I do? Well-intentioned, but it's not a very effective question, right? Now, people ask me that, I always got an answer. I spent a lot of time thinking about where I'm trying to get to, what's missing, and I'm also very practiced. I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I'm very practiced at asking for it. Most people wandering around don't spend a lot of time thinking about where they're at, where they want to be, what they would need to get there, and most people are not very practiced in asking for it. So you got all these things in your way that you think are keeping you from being able to support people, but you're starting with the wrong question. Hey, how can I be of service? How can I help? And I used to do that a lot. So what's a better question, right? Well, it sounds very similar, but it's significantly different. The question I would ask is, would you like some help with that, right? So when I say that, I mean whatever we've been talking about that they said they wanted, where they're at, where they want to get to, what they're trying to accomplish. Would you like some help with that? Could I be of service to you in pursuit of that, right? That's a yes or no question. It's not a, how can I help you? It's, would you even desire help? Hey, Alex. So connect with folks, calibrate. We're talking about enrolling folks, whether you're a coach or a consultant or just trying to enroll folks in your ideas. You got to be able to enroll folks powerfully if you want to make big moves or any moves. So you sit down, you have a conversation, be curious, interested in them, what's going on, what's true in their life today, what are they up to, where are they trying to get to, what are they creating in life, what's their biggest dream for this year, the next 10 years. There's so many questions you can ask. One of my favorite questions is, if you met a magic genie, what would you wish for? Right? Simple question. That question alone serves, hey Brian, what's up, brother? I'm glad you're taking a shower, man. The question, what are you looking to create in the world? If you met a magic genie, what would you ask her? That question alone would serve people because they don't spend time thinking about it. Nobody asks them that. Nobody asks them about where they want to get to. I had a guest in town, one of my clients from the Netherlands, and he came by my place and we went over to the pool, and there was a bunch of stuff going on yesterday. And we're just hanging out in the pool and started chatting with some gentleman there. And I say chatting with sort of lightly because what happened was we kind of got in his neighborhood, and he started sharing with us, like sharing all stuff about his life, this trip to Europe he went to. Like, the guy went for like 30 minutes telling us everything about his life that has occurred up to this point. Not even like taking a breath. At one point I was like, what's your name? I'm Townsend. I wanted to even know his name, right? This is how most people are moving through the world, right? First of all, nobody listens to them, right? So just showing up to be somebody who will listen is powerful. Nobody gets curious about them. When they do, it's like a dam breaks sometimes. Like, wow, does this guy not have anybody to talk to? And everything that he was sharing with me was about the past. He was telling about a trip he took when he was 19, which is wonderful. But I always want to understand from folks where you're headed to. I love hearing about the stories of their life, but to me, for fulfilling, living my purpose, what I want to understand is where they're trying to get to. And some people, the answer is nowhere. Some people, the answer is, I just want to tell stories about my life for the rest of my life. It's fine. We're just not going to get anywhere with that. You don't need my help with that. There is no where you're at, where you're looking to be. So I like to get to the question of where you're trying to get to. Now, at that point, I think you want to be very intentional and very, very, I don't want to say cautious. I'll just say it simply. What I don't do is I don't reach out to connect with somebody and then start telling them how I can help them. When I show up to connect with somebody, it is genuine. I'm interested, I'm curious, I'm not trying to create a client, I'm not trying to turn them into a client, I'm just trying to get to know this person, see what's up, see how I can serve them in the conversation. That's always easy to do. Like I said, simply getting them thinking and talking about the future, I believe deeply serves people. People have come back years after we've talked and said, hey, that conversation we had really was incredible for me. I was like, what conversation? Some 2 years ago. Yeah, you asked me to think about what I want to be and the magic genie, and man, nobody ever asked me that, and I said this. They remembered what I said, or what they said I didn't, and I got it. So even showing up to ask that question of people is really powerful. You'll never know about it, but it's powerful. So as the conversation is drawing to a close, if there's something they're up to that I see there's a way I could help them with that, well, I want to ask, would you like some help with that? Not, how can I help you? How can I be of service? Would you like help with that? They might respond, well, how would you help me? My answer is going to be honest. I have no idea. Haven't started thinking about that yet. I always find a way to help if I want to help. What I don't want to do is be helping people that don't want to be helped. So, simple question. Would you like some help with that? Would you like some support? Would you like to do whatever it is you said it's going to take you 2 years? Would you like to do that in a year? Right? Not how would I do it, but are you interested? No amount of how to is going to make up for want to. I'm always trying to calibrate on, do they want to? We'll worry about the how to later. Most people in the world, maybe even you, are always trying to think, how am I going to do this? And then you'll see if they want to. It's too much effort. Start with do you want to, and then we'll figure out the how to. And not in this conversation, right? I called you, and this conversation was to connect. What came about was something you're trying to create in life. I said, would you like some help? You said, yes, great. We'll create another conversation to talk about how I can help you and what that would look like. Because I don't know, I haven't thought about it yet. I didn't come to this conversation preparing to pitch you on something. And again, this could be coaching, consulting, traditional selling, could be anything, but you have to show up to serve, and from the intention and the being that says, I don't need anything from this person. I'm not looking to make a deal. See, most people show up to conversations trying to find something that is like a hook that they can set so they can start talking about, you know, whatever they're pitching or repping or selling or whatever program they got or whatever software they got. And that comes across as really shallow. Hell, it comes across subconsciously. People know when somebody's asking them questions so they can find something. There, I can help you there. Right? That's very different than, no, I'm just showing up to be curious. So if whoever I was talking to had said, yes, I'd love some help, great. Let's find some time to talk about how I can help you, how I can support you on this thing you want. I might set that conversation out a week in advance or 3 or 4 days, give us some time to think about it. And we'd schedule it, I'd send them the meeting invite, and I'd give them some homework, right? Because I don't want to do all the work here, and I don't want them showing up thinking I'm just there to pitch them. If I'm going to help you, we're going to create together. So I want your being to be creating with me, not sitting there going, okay, let's see what this guy's proposal is. And whatever homework I would give them would be related to whatever they're looking to do. I might give them some homework around doing a little more thinking about what this thing they said they want looks like. If they have a good concept of, well, I want to have financial freedom, and okay, how long? 10 years, great. So between now and when we meet, what I want you to do is do a little work and create for me, what would you need? What would financial freedom look like? Right? So before we meet, I want you to send me an email with this, right? I'm going to give them an assignment. I want them invested in the creation of it, not thinking I'm going to pitch them. We're talking about how do you enroll people? They need to be invested along the way. I think I'm back. I forgot to turn off my phone thingy so other crap came through. Anyway, I want to be creating with them when we get together, not pitching them on something. I'm not going there with an offer for them. And I'm not attached to what happens there. So we would meet again, and then that conversation would be creating, how could I help you? And if appropriate, what would that look like? Right? But the what would it look like is going to be at the end of that conversation. I'm talking time or money or anything like that. What I'm going to be using our time together for in the second conversation is fleshing out whatever the homework is that I had them do, talking about it, what other details are there, and helping them create an idea of what would the value of this be for them. You see, I know my worth. I've talked about worth and value in a other live. Worth is what I create in here. Value is what other people give me for it or think it is. But if I'm going to be creating with them this idea of what they want to get to from where they are, what are the things in their way, what would they need, and start to seed the conversation with, well, there's some things I can do here that would support you. Well, what I don't want to do is get to the end of the conversation when I say, and to work with me it will be Mr. Hardison in the house. We're talking about enrolling. One of my favorite concepts, enrolling by serving. So I don't want to be saying, here's what it looks like to work with me, without them having an idea of the value of what they said they want. So by way of example, I'm currently enrolling for my Being for Sales program. It's a 16-week adventure, let's call it, where folks who are in the profession of sales or do sales for their living will learn to distinguish being to work at the level of being to create transformation in their life. And it's specifically oriented around folks who want to generate revenue, right? Whether they're a salesperson or an individual coach or consultant. So I guess if you guys are interested, you should reach out and let me know. I can tell you about it. But the point of the story here is somebody responded to a post and they said, yeah, I'm interested. When we got on the call, I didn't start talking about the program. What I started asking them is, what's going on in your life? Tell me where you're at. Tell me where you came from. Tell me where you're trying to get to. And this person in particular had a pretty clear view of what they were at and where they wanted to be. And I asked them things like, what do you make in a year these days? What do you want to make in a year? Right? I ask specific questions like that because whatever I'm going to offer them is going to cost money, right? They'll have to value what I'm doing in the form of money. I'm not trying to source my worth. I know my worth, but they're going to have to value it. And the language of value is money. So they would have to see something they're going to get from this. So I asked, what are you making? How much did you earn last year? Right? How full is your practice? Right? However you want to ask these questions. What would better look like? All right. So I don't remember what it was for this person, but let's just say that for conversation's sake, he was making $150,000 a year, and he wants to elevate his capability and his being such that he can earn $300,000 a year. And he thinks currently it's going to take him 5 to 10 years to do that. Well, that's what we established in the conversation. Once we got all that on the table, I said, listen, I want to tell you something. This thing that I'm doing, this being for sales, I'm going to make you a promise. The promise is you come do this with me, and where you are and where you want to get to, right, 150 to 250 or whatever it was, doesn't matter. Oh, you are most welcome, Mr. Hardison. It's an honor to be here sharing about being with all these beautiful beings. I said, I promise you, you'll be there in 2 years. You commit to this, be part of it, and do the work. What you want that you believe will take 5 to 10 years with my commitment and the work we'll do, you'll get there in 2. I promise you that. He's like, cool, well, tell me about the program. And I said, okay, it's this. And I didn't say anything about what it costs, but I said, we meet every 2 weeks and blah, 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 and this and that. Are you interested? And I said, are you in? He goes, well, I don't know what it would cost. And I literally said, who cares? And I get a little cheeky with folks. I said, listen, if I said it was $30,000, I think you can get 35 for a kidney of yours. I would go do that. Right? Because what you said you want is going to take 5 or 10 years. I just told you it's going to take 2. And I'm the kind of guy who, look at my reputation, look what I've done. When I make a promise like that, that's for real. So who cares what I tell you? In fact, let me ask you this. What would you pay for it? What would you value it at? And I think he came back and he said like $10,000 or something. I said, what? I just told you we're going to knock at least 3 years off of 100,000, almost 200,000 more a year. That's only worth 10 grand to you? I didn't say how much you got lying around for this. I said, what's the value you place on that? He's like, oh yeah, I guess so. Came back, goes, okay, well, probably like 100,000. But I don't have that. I said, well, good, it's not 100,000. And I shared the number with him. It's a very reasonable cost. But he said he was in, and I wanted him to be in, not worrying about the price, not worrying about the cost. You can go find the money. If you can't go find what I charge for this, you're never going to get where you say you want to get anyway. But notice the sequencing. Notice how I just had a conversation, talked about him, asked him questions about his life, where he is, where he wants to be, where he sees himself, and then very honestly and let's just say truthfully, what I saw talking to him, what I learned speaking with him, I said, I can help you with that. You do this with me, you'll have that faster. That establishes the value for him. Then I invite, would you like to be part of this? And we'll talk about the money. Most folks do it all the way backwards, right? They start out with, here's my package, here's my cost, and here's my this. Now, what are you interested in? What do you need? And they wonder why people don't share stuff with them, right? Because we're like a cost, a program, trying to find a problem. All people care about, all folks pay for is help on their journey from their current situation to their desired future. That's it. They don't want anything else. They don't want to be coached. They don't want some piece of software. They don't want advice. They want what they want. If you can help them with what they want, get it faster, get more of it, or create a bigger vision of it, then they'll invite you or accept your invitation to help them, and they'll pay you. I think that's probably good for a Monday. Coffee's almost done. I'm going to head out for the day here. I have a clean slate today. I didn't book any meetings, so I could do some writing and thinking and just have some fun. So, wish all of you an incredible week. Last week of the, you're welcome, Alex. Good to see you. Last week of the month. Enjoy it. I love you.